There it is. Welcome, folks, to another episode of Wheelchair Wednesday here at the Wheelhouse. Got another special guest coming to you all the way from Texas. But before we get to him, let's go ahead and run the intro. All right, everybody, let's give a round of applause to Chad Waligura. What's going on, buddy?
What's up, man? It's good to be here.
Thanks for filling in. I know this wasn't necessarily scheduled for today, but thanks for popping up and helping out, you know what I mean, keeping things going.
No problem. Somebody fumbled the ball, I picked it up and scored.
There you go. Hey, man, you know, being part of the family, that's what you got to do around here sometimes. That's one thing I noticed about being in a wheelchair is you know, you kind of enter that family. Once you're in there and you kind of realize it, and you like you said, picked up the ball and now you're finally running with it, you realize that you do have other people that are with you. That if you want, you can reach out. First question I got for you. Let's go to the simple and plain one: is how did it happen? What's your level of injury and how did it happen?
Oh, I got such a boring story. I was just diving into a pool and hit the bottom. Like, you know, it was pretty deep. I just hit that incline between the deep and the shallow.
Yeah.
We were playing some stupid game and I wasn't thinking about where my head was going. And I could have stopped it if I'd have known, because I just hit it just right.
Right.
And
How long ago was that?
37 years.
37 years. Yeah, so you've been down for a minute.
Yeah, it's the only life I know now.
Yep, triple OG
So
status.
like I told you, we can cover any topic you want.
Well, luckily we got the same old 10 questions we're going to ask you, just like we ask anybody else. Just regular everyday questions that I could think of that other people kind of inspired to go through it. You know, just to kind of give somebody, really, to be honest with you, the reason I did this was because, you know, when you're in that hospital bed, and, you know, 37 years ago, we didn't have YouTube or nothing. But, like, nowadays you're in the hospital bed and you're looking up YouTube or whatever, you know, of your injury and seeing how other people are living it. And it kind of does help. It helped me a lot, you know what I mean, to see other people doing things and how they were getting through it. So, the next question I got for you is kind of crazy. A lot of people have different answers. It could go either way, but would you walk again if you could? Which means, would you go back and you know, live that completely different life?
Of course. I don't know how. Obviously, you have a lot more. You just have a way bigger appreciation for life and everything, living this life. But I don't know. I would like to have less appreciation and go back and live it able-bodied, just because of all the stuff that people don't realize about this injury, like everything other than the no walking, just the you know, not being able to control your bowels, sex, pain, UTIs. I'd go back and change it just to not have to go through all of that crap.
Yeah, speaking of pain, I mean, today is one of those days. We all have the days where it's like worse than others, and today's that day for me. I don't think I drank enough water. Everybody tells you to drink more water. But, no, I mean, you were probably, like, young. I mean, you seem like kind of a younger dude now. You're not super old, I wouldn't think. No offense to anybody, but, like, how young were you when it happened?
I was 17, so I'm 54 now.
So you barely got to live, like, even the adolescent, teenage lifestyle.
That's right. Yeah, just when life was getting fun.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I kind of feel lucky. I made it till 33. You know what I mean? Like before something happened.
It's definitely different when it happens later in life than younger, for sure.
Right, absolutely.
But you talk about not having any internet back then. We didn't have cell phones yet.
Right.
Back then, so
that was a whole nother world.
There's a lot we didn't know laying in that hospital bed. I just wanted to know that the stuff I wanted to do, basically like hunting and fishing, outdoor stuff, that I could, and you couldn't find. No one could tell me that I could till I got out and figured that out. But I don't want to derail you. All right, go ahead.
No, you're good. We're gonna get to all that too. That's on here. Next question I got for you is, dating slash married. How do you find that life?
Yeah, well, I'm not married yet. I met a couple that wanted to along the way. They just weren't the right ones.
Right.
So I, I've, I like to think that I've held my stand all the way. You know, I'm not going to settle for somebody that isn't right for me. I'm going to live that way. You know, obviously being in a chair, it's more difficult to meet people, of course, because I mean you're going up. I'm going to make some generalizations. Doesn't mean there's exceptions to every rule. So, a lot of women, you know, they have that fantasy about happily ever after, and they think someone's going to show up and make them happy, and that, you know, they think about that most of their lives.
Yeah.
When they think of Mr. Right showing up, he's not in a chair.
No. That's definitely you don't see that in any storybooks, do you?
So you're fighting that. That's what you have to fight through.
Yeah.
But that being said, you still have to put yourself out there and
absolutely.
and be interesting and have some passions in life and do some things, and you're going to meet people, because when people see you out there doing stuff you love to do, they're going to be like, hey, that's, you know, I want to know that guy, or
right.
You know, they're not going to come knocking at your door. So I mean, I tell people all the time, don't isolate yourself, because that, you know, after you get injured, you isolate yourself. You're inviting depression. You got to build your support system. You don't want to make it smaller.
Right. Yeah. No, for sure. Especially living this life, you need more support than anything. Yeah.
So I know a lot of marriages don't last when one of the partners gets injured. But it's different when you meet someone after your injury, though. You know, you're more likely to stay married a long time.
Right. That's, I mean, yeah, and it goes, man, everybody's different, you know, because I've talked to so many people, and it's like, you think there's somebody out there for everybody. I've talked to wheelchair couples that are both in wheelchairs, which is something you never think about, you know what I mean? Like, but I mean, I think I believe in there's somebody out there for everybody. You just got to find them, you know what I mean?
I used to think that way. I used to have a rule about only having one chair in a relationship because it would be too tough. But I met someone who made me change that rule.
Right. See? You never know. Never know. Next question I got for you is, what is your biggest pet peeves about this life?
God, pet peeve. You mean like what's going on that I wish I could fix?
No, just what bothers you the most. Like what gets on your nerves the most about living in a wheelchair?
Oh my God, you're asking somebody who's accepted everything there is to accept. So
right. You were around before what that ADA even probably was invented.
Yeah, for sure. Physically, or you know, with if you're talking about ADA, it just has to be with the people that are abusing the system.
Right.
Because there's no ADA police, you know, really.
Oh, yeah.
But let's talk, there's a hang tag epidemic out there where
everybody's getting hang tags.
Oh, and they take up all the spaces now for that's one of the things that...
You know, I put lights and a siren on my van. I was thinking about actually pulling up and being like, excuse me, you have to move from that spot unless we can see valid identification. Like, I was just going to go at it and be like, whoop, whoop. But I don't want to get pulled over for impersonating any kind of officer. That would be bad. Show purposes only is what I said.
There needs to be a license plate only parking spot. So
right.
You can put the hang tag spaces in the back of the parking lot.
Right. Yeah. No, I 100% feel that. You get to the parts where literally like you have to take up 2 spots. I'll take up 2 spots diagonally to where I can make sure I can get out. But even then, it's a pain if you ain't got nobody to help you.
I can tell you let me tell you my pet peeve physically. It's having pain where you don't know where it's coming from, and when you go to the doctor and you say you're hurting, but you can't tell them where.
Right.
They don't know what to do.
They're like, well, do you want me to scan your whole body, or?
Yeah. They start running tests, and a lot of times they run all their tests, and then they tell you, I can't find anything, go home and suck it up.
Right. Give you more pills to swallow, I guess, or something.
So that's the worst thing physically about
Yeah.
it.
And that's, I try to not do, I mean, I used to hate taking pills, but nowadays it's like, I feel like, because I take the gabapentin and, it actually does help me. I haven't really noticed my memory going a little bit or whatever. We all kind of forget stuff here and there, but
I think that's a more of a para thing, like chronic pain is more when you break your back.
yeah, because it's all in my back. It's like right in my spine. They, the
Yeah.
surgery and all that stuff, 2 bars holding on to it all day. It sucks.
Most of the quads I know don't have that, like the nerve pain.
I've noticed that. That's one thing I would say I would envy about it, but I think I would still want the use of the
That's
hands.
the one thing, Rick.
That's
the
about
one thing.
it, right? Oh man. What is something that you wish you could do now that you can't do no more?
Oh God. Probably water ski or snow ski or surf. We grew up water skiing, so that was our. That we did it all, but I never got to snow ski, able-bodied, or go surfing. I would love to have been able to do all three of those.
Right. Heck yeah. We just talked about this. Any pain? What kind of pain do you have? Do you know, or is it just like kind of like a radiating feeling?
All of my pain before. Okay, I had that Mitrofanov surgery 7 or 8 years ago. That's where they remove your bladder and they build you a new one out of intestine. So,
oh gosh,
I had an SP tube for 30 years, and that was the bane of my existence, and it gave me some freedom too. But that's what was at the root of most of my daily pain. Whenever I would go through weeks or months with it. It was all because of that.
right.
So, after this Mitrofanov surgery, I was so glad to get rid of my bladder. It just now. I hardly have any pain at all anymore. It's been great,
Right.
and I'm more independent now because I cath through a stoma that's near my belly button, so I just have to lift my shirt up and cath, and I've had about 2 UTIs in about 7 years. So.
Oh man, I hate those. They make you feel like you got the flu for 24 hours.
Oh yeah, they're bad. They're bad. So I don't have much. No dysreflexia anymore. Really, it's been
AD.
that's been one of the best things I've ever done.
Heck yeah. What was it? What's it called?
It's called Mitrofanov.
Mitrofanov.
So there's two things they can do with that. They either slice your bladder in half and make it bigger with intestine, and you still get the cath through a stoma near your belly button. And supposedly when you slice your bladder in half, it won't spasm anymore, is what they told me.
Oh man.
Because it can't, if one half can't talk to the other, and so that's what. But they were taking mine out anyway, which is fine with me. But those are the two forms of the Mitrofanov. You either get rid of your whole bladder, or they just cut it in half and make it bigger.
Right. Another question I want to ask you is, what is the thing that you found to help you the most after you got injured 37 years ago without no YouTube or no TV or nothing? I mean, you had TV, but
just for me, it was getting out and figuring out how to hunt and fish again. I took a year off of school. I postponed it because I got injured in July. I got home on Halloween, and they were trying to get me to study while in the rehab, and
my goodness.
After a few weeks, I was like, this isn't gonna work. Well, what? I told my mom, I was like, why can't I just put off my senior year of high school? She's like, you can. No one says you can't.
Right.
So I still got to hang out and do stuff with my friends when I got back, and everything I was doing was trying to figure out, okay, how am I going to shoot again? How are we going to hunt again? And so we got out. I don't want to say quite a bit. We got out some, and everything we tried didn't work adaptive wise.
Mm-hmm.
Because there was no adaptive shooting equipment, so I was trying to figure out how to make my own. So I got out and failed with everything, and then I learned, okay, this is what I need to do to make it better. So the following year is when I had some success out there. I was able to shoot shotgun, and I got a deer. So from then on, it was just like boom.
Right, off and running.
Yeah.
Heck yeah, so to speak. Now that brings me to my next question, this is where we were talking about it, is the hobbies, like the hobbies before and after, because you were always an avid hunter, right?
Yes. Yeah. So
you just stuck with it and then figured out a way to do it for yourself.
there was some I gave up. Of course, you're gonna give up some like golf.
Yeah, I hate that, man. Everybody mentions golf. I'm like, man, I used to love playing golf. I sucked at it, but it was fun.
Yeah, I played in high school, and then that was out the window. So you pick up some new ones. Like photography is kind of a new thing that I gotten into.
Nice.
I love that, but with filming with Able Outdoors, I'm in front of the camera a lot still, but I like getting behind it. We actually had this. It was like a volunteer program through the rehab, and they wanted some guinea pigs to try out a photography course for people with disabilities, and we had to use our cell phones for the whole course, which was fantastic. There were 2 professional photographers who were also like OTs, and we had assignments, and we had group meetings once a week, and then we had a big showing in a museum after the course was over. It was pretty cool. You never know what you're going to get into.
Right. So let's talk about Able Outdoors. So when did that start?
It actually started 30 years ago or more, when the internet was just starting out. I built a site called Follow Me Outdoors that, just the few things I found that were outdoor, adaptive hunting and fishing related, I started putting it all in one spot, and that just kept going and going. And then from that site I moved to, I think it was like Disabled Outdoors or Disabled Hunter, and then I got with a friend of mine from Wisconsin, and we started publishing a magazine for a couple of years, and we named it Able Outdoors. And
nice.
That didn't take off the way I wanted it to, so I ended up meeting another para girl from Wyoming, Ashley, and she was more into the outdoor video. So she actually wrote a column and a story for the magazine, and I called her up. I said, "Hey, I was like, I'm in my 50s now, and I've always wanted to do a outdoor TV show, or videos." I thought, you want to partner with me, because I want it to be a guy-girl team.
Right.
And I'm a quad, she's a para, so she's like, yeah. So we kind of wanted to do this. We had the same ideas about how we wanted it to look and what we wanted to do with it.
Right.
So we did it. She found a camera guy, a really cool guy named Nick Stella with Crooked Canyon, and he's from Oregon. He grew up hunting, so he knows. He's young, but he has a lot of experience filming. He's fantastic. He makes our stuff look really good.
I was just gonna say, I've watched a couple of them. The first one I seen with Lynette, the one that we did, and we actually had Lynette on the show. And man, I was blown away by, first of all, like how you guys was able to get her out there to do everything, but also about the way that you covered it, about the angles, just everything, the sounds, the music, like everything went perfectly together. I'm like, wow, that's really nice. I actually used some of your footage on the show, some of the footage on there.
He's great. I mean, the very first one we did, I was like, did we really film that?
Right, like this is us. Wait a minute.
When we were doing it, it didn't look like it was gonna be that good.
Right. Heck yeah, man. Well, congratulations. I mean, we're gonna put that in the description too. If you guys are watching live, you can always come back here in a little bit once this cycles through, and then we'll have all the stuff put on there for you. Yeah, so that's definitely awesome, man. Congratulations on that. Here, I'll give you one of these just because you deserve it. Yeah, that's my crowd I keep running. Yeah, for sure, man. Definitely super cool stuff. I'm glad to see more people. Anything that, somebody can do to make this life a little better, even not only for themselves, but for anybody else, I think is super, super dope. Wheelchair Mafia stuff. What about travel? I know you guys do like going up and down the canyons and stuff, but do you like getting on airplanes going to different countries or anything like that, or what's your travel like?
Yeah, for sure. I love to travel. Actually, I'm probably one of the few that doesn't mind travel. You know, a lot of people are worried about airports and planes and stuff, and it's simple to me. I mean,
Right.
I've got you know, I got TSA pre-check. That's one of the best things I ever did, because they don't, you know, they barely pat you down, and they check. They don't make you take anything off.
Right.
You slide right through. Even if you didn't do that, you have your own separate lane anyway, and there's plenty. The airports. I've been in some little rinky-dink airports up at the northern reaches of Canada, and we went to Argentina before, and Africa. You know, I've done that long flight.
Oh man.
So, in every airport has been, you know, they're ready for me, even no matter what. You know, like, hey, you're in a wheelchair, we know what to do. And
Heck yeah.
They're good at it no matter what. So I've always had one time in 30-something years of travel, like this little bitty thing on my chair broke, and it really wasn't Southwest's problem, because a lot of people try to fold my chair by just grabbing the handles and pushing them together.
Yeah.
But you have to lift the foot plate up first, so that will flatten. In the Twilight design, it had a weird design in the middle, and there was this little skinny part in there that broke, and I was like, you know, you go and report it. It wasn't that big a deal. They fixed it. You know, they paid for it. You move on. You keep traveling.
Right. Can't let a little thing like that get you down. I've heard some horror stories, but those were like with power chairs or stuff like that.
Now, power chair is different. You have to definitely take some more precautions.
Yeah, for sure.
And be more careful with that. So I'm lucky to be able to travel in a manual.
Right. Next question is the last question, but not the least, by any means, is what is the best piece of advice that you would give to somebody who's newly injured?
Oh God, I tell them two things: get out as much as you can, and take care of your skin.
Yes, skin is very important.
A lot of people don't understand. If you neglect your skin, you're going to be in bed for 6 months to a year.
Right. And if you see a lot of wheelchair people doing this, no, we're not trying to like rip one out. We're just doing our little pressure reliefs. Don't mind us, you know.
I'm lucky because the more active I am, the less I have to do.
Yeah,
pressure releases, because I'm moving around a lot.
Yep.
So, but man, just get out. I've got a couple of gun dogs that make me get out. Well, I got one now. I had to put one down this year, but I get out with them. They make me get out when I don't want to, which is
because they got there, they want to go. They're like, "Come on, let's go, Dad, let's go."
That's right.
Nice.
They're like, I don't care how you feel. Get your butt out of bed. Let's go.
Right. Heck yeah. I can relate to that. I got a crazy Australian Shepherd. She's always ready to go.
That goes back to not isolating yourself. Get out and do something. I mean,
yeah.
You only got one life. Don't make it smaller than it has to be.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. That's a great piece of advice. Get out, do something, enjoy the sunshine. You know, just something simple. Even getting out and going outside and just sitting in the sun. Like, I've done that plenty this summer, and it was great. Great time.
I usually do that, but it was too hot for.
Well, no, not in 100+ degree weather. You don't want to do that. Take precautions there.
We're about to start now. We can go sit outside.
Up here in Michigan, we got a little luckier than you guys did. We've been pretty nice all summer.
Yeah. That's the one thing I usually travel up there once a summer, but not this summer.
Nice. Well, it was a pleasure, Chad. We're gonna keep you in the old Wheelchair Wednesday family. So, you know, maybe later on down the road or something, if we don't have nothing planned, we might check back with you, see what's going on. And then definitely get with us on my Wheelchair Rick page if you got anything new. If you want to share something, we'll be happy to do that. As far as that goes, yeah, everything else, man, like, we'll put all your stuff in the description. So everybody, if you guys want to check that out, like I said, after the live, we're going to go ahead and throw that in there. And then stay tuned for next week's Wheelchair Wednesday. I'm not even going to tell you who it is, because who knows? Who knows who it might be? It could be somebody new every week. But thanks for tuning in. Chad, thanks for your time. Hang out with me real quick. We're going to drop this out, and we'll talk to you a little bit more. But everybody else, we'll see you next time. This is Wheelchair Wednesday.